Okay, let me accept. Filippo, Oliver, Giacomo. Filippo, okay, so some of you may know each other because first of all, welcome to this session, of course. My name is Alfredo Jovet. I work in the Career Development Center. You may have heard of me before, at least the MBA through the sector videos we have prepared and the Master in Corporate Finance through an welcome email I've sent recently with a lot of information and homework to do during the summer. So we'll have the time to meet each other soon. But in the meantime, as you know, we have prepared this sort of online session. It's going to be something very interactive, just to give you a lot of previous information about investment banking, private equity, how to optimize your CV in order to be ready for the campaign. I know you guys are looking forward to start your masters, but it's important in your sector in particular to start in advance. That's very important. So as I was saying, most of you probably they know each other because I know there's the MBAs, of course, they have a sort of chat already for the finance group. Somebody told me that one practice guy have created a sort of WhatsApp for all the students interested in finance. So it's nice to see the dynamics be more all of us coordinated, and master in finance as well. Of course, hopefully somebody from the class has some sort of group or community to share this kind of information. If somebody's missing, in the meantime, it's a good idea to have this sort of chat. And of course, during the year in October, you will meet the MBA, will start in September, and Master in Finance will start in October. But through the Finance Club, you know, it's an important community we offer in the SDA Bocconi. All of you will have the chance to know each other, to meet at the presentations, to work together in the board. So it's something we will explain when you are on campus in the opening weeks of all masters. But basically, typically all the MBAs and MCFs working interested in the industry, you guys typically know each other very well. You participate in case competitions, that we will going to talk in later about them, how is the best way to get in touch with the market with certain topics that perhaps before you haven't worked directly. But thanks to being in the SDA Bocconi enrolled in our masters, we will have the chance to participate in this challenge competition in Europe and in the world, right? So, okay, since I don't know how many I mean, I know some names already through the email, but how many, let's see how many MBAs we have. I don't know, you can, for instance, raise your hands, the MBAs from all the session today, just understand how many we have. Okay, one, Jacopo, Sebastian, Federica, Filippo, Federica again, Marco. Okay. All right, Sebastian as well. Yes, I guess like 10, 15 could be perfect. So, okay, I will take the hand off, and then please raise your hand the rest of the corporate finance. There are students who are enrolled in the corporate finance. So Celia, Megan, Laura, Lautaro, Nicolas, Marco, Pitin. Oh, quite a few, I guess, like 10, 12 at least. Nicola, of course, Stilianus. Yes, I remember some of your names from the exchange of emails. Great. So welcome all of you. I think that we're how can I help? I would say help MBAs, help Mastering Corporate Finance. The rest of the classmates will join the session when we'll be on campus, of course. I don't know if Sabine want to say something before starting the presentation. She's saying hello.
No, I'm just saying hello. I'm leaving the for Alfredo, who is in charge of financial services, and as he stated, since the sector, especially for people wanting to learn a job, especially demanding and very competitive, companies don't have, let's say, very large amount of job available for a certain level. Let's call it from the associate to VP, which is the level of jobs that most of the MBAs and MCF students would aim to. The main reason for this call is to make sure you all know what we need to do in terms of preparation. You need to get into campus because the summer is there for you guys to to make sure you understand the deadlines and start to prepare. Otherwise, in September, when you come to Milan, it's quite late and you have to run tremendously. So starting very early in the summer with basics and to cover the info that Alfredo will tell you in terms of deadlines and when to do what is fundamental for you to have a timeline of your plan. That's Alfredo, and I'll be listening. Good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, as you can see, I mean, we are in the same building. The sun is shining. I mean, it's not, I like dark, but I prefer to, I put this amazing picture before in the background, you can see, so you can get familiar with our amazing new campus. Maybe some of you have visited in person, others just in pictures. I mean, it's afternoon here. It's not so dark, but it's an amazing campus, really. And you will have the chance to live your experience here with us the whole time. You will basically spend the whole life in this campus with us. Let me put you then the slides. It's not going, there are not too many actually. Okay, I guess you can see the slides. I mean, the rules of engagement is that, of course, if someone wants to add any sort of information or comment, I just ask to be a general one. Okay, so no, please. I mean, this is not the right time with everybody here in the same room to talk about personal information or doubts about your professional background or certain words or doubts you may have. So please, if somebody wants to add something, just try to make a general question. At the end of the session, of course, we can make some additional questions. But during the explanations and all these slides, if someone wants to make a general one, just shoot an email, shoot a message in the chat, okay, or just raise your hand and you will come participate. As I said before, it's not going to be a very long webinar. I prepared like 15 slides, but most important is the information, as Sabine was saying. I mean, this is the only sector, the only webinar that we are doing in so much time in advance with the students, because as you know better than us, the financial services industry is very broad, very complex. And in particular, there are certain paths like the investment banking one or private equity that it's better to share some information in advance, because as Sabine was saying, we have prepared a lot of information from with the professors, with the online external partners, and through our experience, that it's very important to share with you in advance, because it's not only a matter of you have a great profile or you're coming from banking already, but there are certain trainings or information that you need to go through before coming on campus. It's very important you have this idea in your mind, because it's a very selective sector. Not everyone, I mean, everyone can apply, of course. So you can apply for the programs, you apply for the jobs, but the limit for the people who are shortlisted for this kind of path is very limited and very exclusive, depending on the level of background you may have and the skills that we are going to talk about later. Okay, so we will make a small introduction about, first of all, about our team, just to give you some context. We'll talk a little bit about the careers in finance in general. So we'll explain typically the main, the most interesting paths from the student in the industry. Of course, we will make a special focus on investment banking and the programs you will find around very soon. Also, it's important to see for these programs if you have the right skills that they're looking for when they are applying, to make sure that it's a reliable plan you have. We'll talk about the timeline of preparation, about the tools and all the information we have prepared for you. At the end, of course, we will talk about the curriculum, the CV in particular, powerful hints, and according to our experience, what information must be there already in that CV, plus the cover letter that it's important to add to the applications. And finally, just we talk about next steps on a Q&A you may have. Okay, hope it's clear enough until now. This is just, as I was saying, to give you some context of why I'm doing this webinar with you guys. So I belong to a team that's led by Sabine. She's the head of the Career Development Center, and I work with a team of 9 people. We are 9 or 10. Somebody will join soon. And we are divided by sectors. So as you can see, I'm in charge of the financial services and the healthcare industry in particular, plus the sports management. So I've been working overall 10 years of experience in the Career Development Center, and 2 years already in the financing in particular. I think between, I mean, my previous experience before Bocconi was in another business school in Spain. So I've been working more for training and development and executive education with senior profiles. And in the last 10 years, I've been working directly with masters and students like from your age, from 25 to 35 years old, I would say. My office, it's our office. It's in the second floor. You will have to chance to meet me anytime with appointment. My email, you know already, because I send you a lot of information by email with the toolkits and next steps. My colleagues, you will see them around, especially Simone regarding the clubs, the finance clubs, and other students club. Oriana, my colleague, in charge of in the last stage of your process when you are already signed an internship agreement with the company, she will be helping. And Francesco, my colleague in charge of alumni and participants engagement, well, and Sabine maybe perhaps in several conferences and workshops as well. I mean, our idea, finance sector, it involving, of course, the MBA and master in finance. So we typically try to find a lot of synergies between all the classes, and that's why the finance club has been created years ago with good results from this point of view. Okay. This is just to tell you, as you know better than me, that the financial services industry is very structured. In general, it's very standard, the recruitment process. And you will find, I mean, if you tell you that this is the time and the deadlines of that programs, of that specific paths, you need to follow us. I mean, because we know the market, we have been working with them for years. And all the banks you can see here, private equity, asset management, we typically know the dynamics of the industry. So just be aware of all our communications and work closely with me, with Professor Tealdi regarding the Master in Corporate Finance, because it's the best way to target the best opportunities for you and be ready for the market. This is a very, I would say, very broad summary of the main sections, let's say, of the 4 main areas that you guys typically place after the masters. No, we can talk about corporate investment banking, asset/wealth management, or some of you would like to do the client relationship management. Other big block talking about private equity and venture capital. This is something we have seen in the last 2 years that is growing a lot, not only in Italy but also in Europe. And corporate finance positions within companies. Here you can find also the insurance sectors, and what is missing here is not in the slide, but it's all the consulting services. And some students working with financial services sometimes place also in consulting, strategy consulting firms or advisory boards. Okay, but just to give you can see corporate investment banking. That's why we are here. That we wanted to tell you this information in advance. No? So you know better than me that this is a very demanding sector. So you need to be ready for working a lot. I'm not telling that you probably haven't worked for so much, especially if you come from Big Four or from another banks already. But it's important to know that you're willing to invest your time in this particular sector. You may be involved. We will see later in the content of the programs themselves, but you can be involved in M&A. Transactions or teams. You can be assigned to a specific industry sector coverage. As you know, depending on the banks, they maybe have practices in healthcare or technology or retail or infrastructure. Depends on the bank, on the radar, and then other possible destination for you will be in client financing and solution that, capital markets, debt, or equity. You can find possible jobs or projects within these sections. Very important that we like to tell you very clear in advance, the application of these programs you need to do online. Okay, so very few come to us to say, we, Morgan Stanley, Barclays Bank, and the big names already, they're not coming to us. They open the programs and you need to submit directly your application. So it's important that you are watching the deadline and apply directly. Very important. As well as the timeline. I mean, we are in August and everything makes sense that we are here. We know that in the US, for instance, if you are from the US, some of you know already that have seen already some programs already open in New York, Boston, San Francisco. It's another cycle, but in Europe, it's very similar. Maybe not August, but it's September. So please be aware of the deadlines and apply, of course, with the banking format. That's what we're going to talk later. Very fast, talking about private equity and venture capital is not the same as the main programs. It's very fragmented market, and it's not very easy to find postings actually of private equity summer project. Maybe later on in March, April, as you can see here. But the best way to apply is through network or meeting the managers and the senior managers through the events, through your personal connections, through other channels that the university may provide you. For instance, the case competitions I was talking about is the best way to start creating your network in this area. Just very big institutions like EPR or big names, they may offer the applications directly in the website, but the rest of the projects are, coming through other channels for the year. Okay. Asset management, wealth management. We have two big names like Credit Suisse or UBS, for instance, that they offer wealth management programs just for investor or client relationship management. This is a program for future personal bankers related to relationship management. So these companies, these banks typically come to us with the programs open to MBA and MCF students. And most of the time they ask you to talk about your portfolio of clients. As you know better than me, you're coming from a specific region of the world, Latin America, US, Eastern Europe, Asia Pacific. They may be asking you, like, what is your portfolio, what you bring, or the kind of clients that you've been working with. This is one of the main requirements. These events are coming later. You will see big banks coming. There's Credit Suisse typically in October, and you will have the chance to apply. Other asset management besides the wealth management, like small asset management companies or boutiques, will be coming similar to private equity throughout the year, especially like February, March, April. We start receiving projects within these companies that you can apply at PIMCO and some others. Finally, the corporate finance option, let's say, it's what we can find everywhere, of course, any kind of company, any kind of industries. And this is the path that some students decide to join the company, like being a CFO in the future, let's say, or head of finance or financial planning. So this is something that's it's always there. We have a lot of companies offering this kind of leadership path. You can see here leadership programs just with finance track for students like you coming from a financial background, joining the company through this sort of leadership specializing finance. Typically, these companies are coming on campus. We have a good relationship with them, and yeah, most of them open the internship programs like in January, February. So just be patient. You will just find very few opening in October, November to start in June, let's say. So you need to be patient. And then the consulting, as we were saying, insurance and consulting, you will find on top of all this. These are the main areas that you guys are typically targeting. Is there any questions so far? Okay, let me just go very quick through the finance toolkit. I'm not going to go all in detail, of course. You may have seen already all the information, but just to remind you, as I was saying before, we have prepared this. There is a lot of time invested with professors, with alumni from the industry. There are a lot of sources and free materials to take a look and to study basically during the summer. You can see here, specialized, whoever is interested in investment banking. These are the two main tools with the training courses. These are finance-free courses anyone can join. Private equity, LBO in particular. There are some videos here, some website with a lot of useful information from our partners, some readings, special tools about venture capital, some database already with information, very powerful information. I mean, this is a lot of information here. You need to spend time to go through, especially through the online training courses that we have prepared for you. We'll talk in a minute. This is mainly our part of the career service when we are helping you guys through me as a counselor to prepare the interview with companies, how to prepare the cover letters, how to prepare your interviews in HR mainly. And we have special partners to help you with the technical expertise, technical interviews you may have. Okay. Obviously, there will be some training and workshops that we will explain you when the time arrives. And very important, lastly, you can see here all the case competitions I was talking about. Maybe some of you are familiar with them, others not, but some are for MBAs, others are MBA and Master in Finance. And it is the best way to get in touch with the company, with a new sector. Mainly all the competitions, as you can see, are related to restructuring, private equity, VC. So it's a way to work in a team with classmates. You can be MBAs or Master in Finance, and then deliver a proposal for the jury. The jury typically is made by companies, by partners, or investors that are looking for candidates like you. So it's a good way to start approaching the industry and include information already in the CV, especially if you don't have that exposure to these topics. Okay. Just to refresh you some important dates that we were talking before. Today, we are doing this webinar talking about CV banking format that is useful for your applications. We were saying to investment banking programs and for private equity when they will arrive. Most of you have replied me. I'm happy for that. I have like around 25 confirmation. You still are in time to confirm if you haven't done it already, to follow these online courses with our partner Wall Street Oasis. So this is a very powerful tool we have invested this year, and you have 40 hours of training. Anyone can join with a password. During the next 1-2 months, you can enter when you want and follow your courses in order to finalize before September 24th. We have 2 months. We're talking about 2 months. Okay. After the end of all these online courses, everyone who has finished the path, you can have access to this online workshop. So it's we have 2 trainers, and it's a Saturday 24th, Saturday morning, all virtual, of course. You can have the chance to practice already with a trainer talking about interviews or interview preparation already. Okay, so plus all the content you have studied during the summer. In order to finish the path, you will have this deep insights training, talking about how to prepare, a lot of Q&As with the trainers. So everybody has applied. You have an interview, you will be super ready for that. Okay, for 2023, so after Christmas time, we will do something similar about private equity and LBO. Okay, so we'll be available 40 hours of training or 30 hours of training. And then at the end of the 2 months, you will have this workshop with a trainer, especially focused on interview process. Okay, so you are not going to study or to cover topics, academic topics that you will be learning during the year in the masters or by your own. It's just focused in the interview process. Another big event in next year, just to have you in the calendar, is this Private Investment Forum. So it's a big event. It's the second time we are organizing in the school, and it's together with the professors, together with our connections with alumni. We will bring important names, senior managers, and important, to raise the network of this community. You will have the chance to participate, and at the end of the day will be a sort of networking cocktail with them. The experience was very positive. In the last month, we organized this forum, and it's a super opportunity for most of you to get in touch with important leads and make networking. These are more or less the important days to keep in mind. All right. I don't see any questions, so let's go through. Okay, so this is, as you can see, it's a screenshot for a real program, a real summer internship program for investment bank. Okay, in this case, it's from Nomura. As you know better than me, there are mainly two levels when you will find these summer programs. One is analyst, and the other is associate. It doesn't say that analyst is not only for MBA, but typically the analyst is for 1 to 2 years of experience. Okay, is the entry level for somebody who has limited experience. I mean, you need to come from a specific background we are going to talk now in a moment. Associate level is like in consulting. Typically, you have 3 or even 5 years of experience. You need to be an MBA most of the time to access to this associate program. Okay, so just when you see around, just keep in mind, you will find basically these two levels: analyst program, associate program. So if you're an MBA, go directly. You have the requirements, of course, how to go with associate. I just wanted to show you these screenshots. Well, just an example of what kind of teams you can be or projects you can be involved. You can see here, you can be assigned to real executions of companies or transactions, M&As, capital raising, finance, and another topics some of you probably are aware of because I've been working directly. Client relationship management, as we were talking before, you can be assigned to this, some sort of analysis, risk analysis basically. Of new investment, for instance, or new business development, participating in pitch with clients and giving ideas of the new possible investments they may have. In terms of requirements, you can see in this case, Nomura has an interest in practice sector in infrastructure and technology. So they say, in this case, if you are familiar with interest in these topics, the better. But typically, it's very open. I mean, they don't tell you in advance what kind of sectors or industry are going to work with. Most of the time, as you can see, they go directly to these skills, the hard and to the soft skills. We will analyze in the next slide. But it's basically good communication skills, handling multiple projects, of course, good analytical skills, ability to understand financial products, and then depends on where you're coming from, eagerness to learn and work as part of a team, and career responsibilities. Typically, it's very, as we were saying before, I mean, they don't require you like 3-5 years of experience in a specific area. So most of the time, they're looking for a strong financial background. Ideally, you need to have worked before in M&A, if possible, or strategic consulting, or advisory consulting, or you come already from a bank, from investment bank. Some of you maybe have been assigned to this work. For associate programs, you will find this MBA requirement. For master in finance, you will find analyst, you will find master in finance, or important master with the special focus in finance matters. Typically, it works like that. Another possible path that you guys will be open to that is this kind of projects in private equity come later. As I was saying before, you won't find too many of these, but they're not very different from the investment programs in banks, but these are small private equity or big ones, depends on the size. Here it's important, as you can see here, have experience in this topic. I mean, DCF, LBOs, analysis, market industry research, all the kind of experience you might have directly in especially your M&A client relationship, LBO, the more chances you may have to be shortlisted. It doesn't mean that they're going to call you for sure, okay, because you're studying in Bocconi. It's another element in your CV to add to your experience. But here is very important to underline all the projects you have done directly and talking to these topics. In the profile section, you can see strong academic performance in corporate finance, general management, so it's MBA, strategy, or in a business engineering school of university, okay? Then ideally, you have worked directly in private equity, investment bank, M&A, advisory boutique, or strategic consulting are considered a plus. Okay, this is typically how it works. If you have these elements already in the CV, more chances you have to be shortlisted for the interview. The rest of the requirements that you can see are similar to the investment banking program. So it's more about client relationship, good communication skills, standing, and attitude. So this kind of skills they will assess during the interview process. But at the beginning of the interview process, if you are selected, they will go directly to the modeling most probably. Okay. This is a slide of what we're talking before. What they want in you guys to be shortlisted: MCF, MBA, super plus. I will underline this financial skill. All the other competencies, of course, are important, but are related to the financial skills. I mean, you have been as we were saying, involved in the financial analysis, financial modeling, cash flow, DCF, etc., the more chances you can have to be solicited. So talking about hard skills, some of you come from consulting, auditing, risk assessment, insurance. I mean, you may have your technical expertise, okay, capital markets, or many of you have a diverse background. This is very important for them, depending on your projects. But it's equally important, the soft skills that we were talking about before. So be a good communicator, good team player, good team problem solver, have a nice standing. I mean, having experience in working with seniors, and then be organized, good negotiation skills, time management. Okay, you may ask, how is it possible to include all these elements in the CV? I mean, the hard skills are not difficult because you can explain the projects in your CV. It's not so easy the other soft skills to connect it to this project, but it's something we're going to cover in the next slide. Okay. Okay, timeline about the investment banking. So we are now here. We have in front of us all the summer, and my suggestion for you is to work in the CV and in the cover letter, okay, to be ready for the applications. Then you need to, as we were saying before, spend individual preparation, studying all the materials we have prepared for you. Check the deadlines. End of August. I am going to send an email probably like end of August, early September, with all the programs that I'm familiar with in order to give you the deadlines. I mean, typically they start posting all the big banks, they have a list. So I will try to send you a sort of guide with the programs, the link to apply, and the deadlines. Okay, so I'm going to try to gather all this information for you, and then of course you need to apply directly by your own. I cannot apply for you. We have this online training new with Oasis, Wall Street. And then this is the first step, let's say. From October until January, what's going to happen? If you have a good CV, if you have a cover letter and the elements they are looking for, they may be calling you for an interview, okay? Most typically, let me ask Sasha, okay? Most typically, what they typically do in the beginning is to send you the online test modeling. It's a sort of filter for them. Okay, you need to pass the test. If you don't pass the test, it's very hard to get the interviews later. So that's why we were saying it's very important to be ready from an analytical point of view, from a training point of view, because it's important to pass the first filter. And then I can help you with that, with the HR management, with HR interviews, with the competence-based and motivational. In a second moment, if you have a more technical interview with a senior manager, or they're asking you to prepare a pitch or something more technical, as we were saying before, we have sort of training mentors that you can prepare with them specific technical difficult presentations. Okay, but this is something you will eventually be receiving like from November, December onwards. Okay, and then at the end, typically in January, February, they may be offering you the internship for the summer, analyst or associate, depends on your level. So you can see the two kind of interviews as I was talking about before. So you need to practice, and this is something I'm going to help you with that. For the HR or motivational interviews, they're going to ask you a lot of questions like this, like tell me about the biggest failure you have done in your professional life. It's important to have some examples already. So there are behavioral questions related to skills that they're assessing in a candidate. They understand through this technique that you have done in the past, if you know how to explain it. It's very probably that you are going to do that in the future. Okay, so that's why it's important to prepare examples. But this is something we are going to prepare in the interview phase about motivation and behavioral. From the technical point of view, as I was saying before, you have the toolkit, you have all the tools, you have the sources, and this special training we have prepared for you. Valuation models, macroeconomics, relationship management, all these topics you can find in the content of the course, but from an interview point of view. Okay, so if any one of you have not confirmed yet, there are some spots available, and so please send me an email like your classmates, and at the end of the week, we are expecting to send all the information about the account, and you can go directly and apply by your own. They have access to the courses. Okay. Let me. Okay, it's not working. Just a moment, because it's not okay. In the meantime, is there any question? Like, I don't see anything in the chat. Okay, let me try again. Okay. Here we are. Oops, yeah, here. Sorry, I'm just Felipe is joining. Perfect. Hi, Felipe. So all the information I explained before, it's perfect, it's clear. We have the context already. Now, why it's important to have the CV? Because I mean, the CV is a presentation card. It's a personal paper with all the assignments, with all the expertise you have. And here, the idea is to have the interview, okay, to be shortlisted for the interview. We call it it's a calling card, and you have to put, as I was saying before, achievements and the skills in a way that your strengths are easily to follow. We have actually a tutorial, and the MBAs, they probably have seen already, and they have been created. The CV and the MCF will have access by the end of August to all this tutorial. And they will explain through the tutorial examples and tips about how to create the school format CV. That's the one. Now you need to start preparing the CV banking format. Okay, so there is no need the tutorial. It's better to start creating the banking with the information we were talking before. These banking formats, many of you probably have. It's important because you can apply only with this format to the financial institutions, investment banking, asset management, private equity, and especially in countries like UK, US, or Switzerland. There is something that they don't accept CVs with pictures and other information. Okay, so it's very important to start working in this format. Just to give you the difference between the school format and the banking, this is the one that you will have, all of you, to make. The NDAs have already done the job, and my colleagues are reviewing the content. The MCFs will be starting doing this early September, because you guys start in October, okay? This is a typical format with you can see the picture, personal information, nationality, and then education, professional experience, languages, and additional information. These are the main sections. Okay, so colorful, a lot of information. You can have, and you can describe more topics or information not related directly to finance. This is something that we create the CV book at the end of the day to include all the CVs together and send to the company. So this is the school format. On the other hand, we have the banking format. So what is mainly here, the main point of difference? So there is no picture, no personal information at all. It's important to follow an easy layout, so the information must be compact. They don't like you typically do in other industries. You can put like pictures, diagrams, or colors. Here they need something structured, easy to follow. And the sections are pretty much similar: education, professional experience, languages, and you can put activities and interest, or the kind of the example they put leadership and involvement. Depends on your. You have been following a leadership role in the university, in your previous background. This is the best way to include here. But typically, all the scholarships, courses, training, and everything, it's you can put here in this section. For investment banking, as we were saying before, make sure if you want to have any chance to make sure that you have the right information talking about deals and valuations of companies you have done in your previous job: consulting, banking, corporate banking, financing company. whatever, try to make sure that you have been related to these operations. So maybe you have been working with transactional companies, with any sort of analysis of DCF analysis with companies or institutions. That's the best way to include it. And most importantly, any relationship with clients, any sort of opportunity to create a presentation or create executive summaries with the seniors, this is the best way. Because if you remember, one of the requirements of investment banking were the client focus, client relationship, direct experience with clients, and presenting the results. So the more information you include related to this operation, each of you please try to include and describe. I can help you with that, of course, in the review. And when you come back for the summer, I can help you with the CV review, and I will send an email about deadlines. I will spend a couple of weeks to be available to see your CVs before applying. Okay, but in the meantime, my suggestion is to start working in the draft. I will send you a draft in Word. You can, if you don't have already, you can start creating your own CV. Together with the CV, it's important, as we were saying before, most of the programs, most of the projects in general, they will ask you like a sort of motivational letter to talk a little bit more about your story. So not only they want to see your CV and expertise, but also sort of paper with a motivation, as you can see here, why you're interested in the company, why you're applying for that role in particular. And at the end of the day, it's sort of additional information they see together with your application. I can send you an example. Okay, this is a nice example with the distribution we typically suggest to divide the structure of your letter, talking about the company, the firm, the bank you're applying for, including something you know from them, okay? Even if you have somebody, you have connected with somebody through a company presentation, if you know somebody, an alumni from SDA Bocconi or any of your personal connections, maybe at the beginning, you can include that as an introduction to create the link with while you're applying. Then, as we were saying, it's important to talk about yourself, obviously. What is your background? What is your main expertise? What are your skills for this particular role? And then I would say that the rest of the test, it's very important to summarize, as we can see there, how all the information you have provided, it could be a good fit with the role. Why do you think would be a good fit? Why they should hire you at the end of the day with all the information? So it's important to combine all together. Why it's you, your background, motivation, and why do you think, what can you contribute to the company after all? I mean, why would be so important for you from your side and from their side? I mean, if they hire you, what kind of added value will you give to the position? Even as an internship, you saw the content before. They're not looking for expert of 5 years experience or 7. They're looking for smart people with a minimum level of finance background, with important operations related, and then the rest of the requirements are soft skills, we were saying. So please work on that, work on the information. I can help you with the review when you come back in the summer. Main mistakes that may happen when you're applying and you're not getting a response maybe are related to these answers. If you spend more than one page, you are out already from the assessment. Even if you are a senior, you need to put everything in the one page. It's important to respect that we're saying the information and layouts, but do not exaggerate in the level of information and the fonts. If it's too small to read, nobody's going to spend time reading it. So it's something should be balanced. Please skip in the banking format photos, colors, videos, or any other creative addition. Here in particular in banking and in consulting in general, you can include the GPA, of course, change programs, work experience, which is very relevant for them. Yeah, if you exaggerate with the information at the end of the section where you talk about yourself, what you have done from extracurricular activities or other information that are not relevant, they will be a bad idea for sure. Miss the deadline to apply for the summer program. This is an important mistake. That's why we are preparing this seminar in advance So you know that if you're super interested in investment banking, you need to track all the programs from now. Mid-August, you need to follow all the programs. And the last one, of course, you can have a big mistake if you are not ready for the interview process, but it's not going to happen because I know most of you will be following all the resources we have prepared for you. This is the last one. Next steps and some homework for you for the summer, as I was saying before. So during the summer, August, September, I mean, the MBAs will start on 12th of September, but you still have some time. So the more you enjoy during the summer, the better. Study the financial toolkits, follow the online courses we have prepared for you, try to optimize as much as possible all the sources we have prepared, and then start working in the CV banking format. Okay, so toolkit, courses, banking, CV. From September, as I was saying before, I will be available for CV review with each of you. I will send the list of the main summer programs that I have found out in the market. So you have all the deadlines and the links how to apply and start the application. And finally, the 24th of September, as I was saying before, all the package, let's say, finish with this training Saturday morning with 2 trainings from the US, people with experience directly in investment banking, in order to prepare the interview. Okay, it's just a way to prepare in a practical way all you have been studying during the summer. And finally, of course, more importantly, enjoy your vacation, because if you don't manage to do both things, study, but also, of course, you have been working until Celia was talking to me saying before she's doing an internship. So it's super nice, but try to spend some days off as well, because from September, everything will start. You won't have time. So it's important to start with energy and with real motivation from the amazing year that we're going to have. So let me stop here. Okay. And I am open to questions you may have. I try to be concise, not very boring. Hopefully you understand everything, but I'm here for any general question. Lautaro, please.
Hello, Alfredo. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry I can't switch on my camera at the office. This will be my last week here in Argentina working. Amazing. I have a few questions regarding wealth management, which is the industry in which I want to work. You said something about this, but I couldn't get it at all. I mean, completely. Is it necessary to have a portfolio of individuals, or you meant that it's necessary to build one once at the position? Am I being clear?
Yes, you mean for the programs of relationship management programs, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Wealth management. Yeah. Yes, I mean, maybe I was not clear if most of the time they are asking you to bring this portfolio of companies. So, I mean, they're not asking you for all the details, but typically they try to figure out what is the kind of context and clients and level you have been working directly. So from your region, basically.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question? Regarding the visa, maybe? Something I skipped, I think, about some of you may have questions about if I am from Colombia, can I apply for an investment banking program based in London? So the answer is yes, you can apply. Depends on the company, depends on the bank. They may be having a Latin American desk in this case, for instance. For you, they will be looking for someone who are looking to work for your market, and in that case, if they like your profile, if everything fits, they may be sponsoring your profile. We have some cases. I mean, it's not impossible. It's not easy from the beginning, but it's same as in Switzerland. All these big banks, you know better than me, based in Frankfurt, Switzerland, Zurich, or London, basically the main, I guess, the three main cities regarding financial services in Europe. They're working globally with all the regions, so they have master students from different nationalities working directly with this market. Okay, there is a question. Would you like us to email you with an interest in this sector? Not necessarily. I mean, if you have replied me already with the interest in the investment banking online track, it's enough. I mean, the rest of the conversation we will do here when you're on campus, okay? I will be available for one-to-one meetings, and then we can see the CV together. And we will, I understand what do you mean? I'm not sure if I have. If you have replied me, check it out. I mean, today is the deadline to tell me if you're interested in this. But if you haven't, please send me another email. I will include you in the list. And by the end of the week, I'm expecting to send you everything about the account. You can go directly to the platform. It's very easy. You can have your own password and then start following the course. All right.
Alfredo, this is Sebastian from Chile.
Okay, hello.
You said that there will be a private equity specific training session in February, March next year.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
It's the same format, Sebastian, like these online courses plus the workshop. So we have started with this path, and it will be the same format for next year. So
Okay.
you can follow the courses, and then there will be a training talking about how to prepare interviews specifically with private equity and LBOs.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, there are a lot of Latin American students I can see. Chile, Argentina.
Yeah.
You work in a bank, Sebastian, or
What, sorry?
where are you coming from? From working in a bank? What is your background?
No, I used to work in a few big companies in Chile, but in the business development teams. So I have been engaged in lots of M&A, but directly inside the producing companies, not banks.
Okay.
I used to hire banks to advise us.
Great. So you have experience in dealing with them from the other side.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Awesome. All right. We have Pedro, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm the third Latin American.
Okay.
I'm from Peru. I had a question regarding the tracks. Since I'm taking the Master in Corporate Finance, the program describes that you can choose from tracks on May 2023. But the applications for most of these companies, of these, let's say, branches or tracks for that you have explained, actually come before that. So how does that work? I mean, do I need to choose before the tracks, the program, where do I want to take my internship, or am I supposed to decide now which track I'm going to take in order to apply to a program, a specific program? How does that work?
Well, yeah, if you are a master in finance, you need to follow the rules of the engagement of the master. So I'm not in charge of them. I don't know specifically the deadlines of those tracks you were talking about. I know there are different courses, but it's something you need to select later when you pass the general part, let's say. So if you're interested in investment banking programs, it's something you need to decide now. I mean, if you want to do the investment banking for the internship analyst, you need to apply now, regardless the track. I mean, if you have the elements, Pedro, in your CV that we were discussing before, if you think you could be a good fit for them, have a go, regardless the focus or concentration you may have. Remember that, I mean, you are not obliged to follow a specific industry or path related to the track. I mean, if I remember well, you are free to go to a private equity or asset management or a bank in the MCF. In any case, if you have questions about the structure, you can ask the Federico Pipo, professor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So it's another question. Hi, Alfredo, if it's possible, could you please provide some information about in-house M&A in big corporates in Italy? Which level of Italian is required? I see. Well, M&A teams in big corporates, you mean like big companies like multinationals, right? Based in Italy. I agree with you. They maybe, we have some examples from the past. Someone, Luxottica, for example, yes. I mean, so Italian is it's a very domestic market in the sense that it's true that if you work, we have examples, non-European students without Italian at all have joined corporate finance position. Okay, not sure about the M&A team if they have in the corporate development team. This is another one. Corporate development team, they have, I mean, an M&A projects in a corporate development. This is something that is possible because, as you know, this is sort of in-house consulting. Okay, typically the boss, the people working there are coming already from banks or from consulting, strategic consulting. Okay, so we have seen some examples. The level of Italian depends on the projects. If the projects are globally and everything is in English, you may have your chances. But at the end of the day, I tell you in advance, if you want to have any chance in general in these Italian companies, even if it's in finance, which is everything in English and it's all about numbers, you need to have a minimum level of Italian. Either I will tell you intermediate level of Italian. This is something we have seen in the past. We have some examples, smart people joining with a minimum level and they have Italian classes and now they are fluent, let's say. But could be an obstacle in the interview process if they know from the very beginning that you don't speak Italian. I tell you in advance. So my suggestion for you, you are targeting Luxottica or Prismian or Enel or any of these big corporations, try to understand the local level, otherwise you will decrease the chance. You are C1 of Italian, then I think you may have some chances then. Okay. All right. Any other general question? So in the meantime, I've seen more, yes, a couple of MTFs, more. So everything is clear. Okay, this is another one. Okay, this is something indeed is very interesting to the WhatsApp group. So please, any of the MCF connected, if it's the first time you have the chance to talk to each other, yes, something more proactive and create this group would be great for communications. Okay, Oliver, you want to say something?
Yes. Hi, Alfredo. Oliver from Switzerland. I have a question regarding the MBA program. Does the private equity and entrepreneurship concentration start before the private equity and LBO workshop, or is that later on?
The concentration of private equity entrepreneurship ends
Yes.
Before? Sorry, you said?
Does it start before the private equity and LBO workshop or later?
Oh, I mean, you mean the one we were talking about before, about Wall Street Oasis?
No, there's a concentrate. I saw there's a concentration 1 and 2.
Yeah.
In the MBA program, and the second one is called private equity and entrepreneurship.
Yes. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, the concept, the information you're going to learn there will be, if I'm not wrong, belongs to April, May. I mean, it's the last part of the program. The training about LBO and how to get the best for the interview process will be most probably February, March. So I presume, I don't have the dates already, but I presume it will be before. You will have access to this information before learning, before the course itself in April. Now, I'm not telling you have more information about that, but typically it starts in April.
Concentration starts in second half of March, and they last about 2 months, 2.5 months until the end of May. So the preparation to break into the sector, which Fredo mentioned, for both investment and private equity, which technically is almost the same thing, you need to do much well in advance, because should you get the opportunity to interview with some fund based whatever from Switzerland, France, etc., will have something to do, especially in private equity with LBOs. So you have to be, let's say, proficient in tracking this type of exercises that they give you and the preparation you have. If you have not done finance in the past, you for sure have to invest quite a lot of time to train before Christmas time already, or just after, because if you get a chance for an interview, they give you, I don't know, a week or maximum 10 days to fix the date and go for the interview. And you cannot wait for the courses that happen at the end of March to be ready for interview. Those courses will help when you start reapplying for full-time jobs or to, further deepen your level of expertise for fall season. But if you want to pass an interview earlier on, you have to for sure do the preparation that Alfredo is offering. This is why he's offering it also so early, because we know that some people with background that have done, for example, I think it was Felipe that was speaking before, that with M&A corporate experience, you can leverage this experience to apply. You have to refresh some of the concepts and calculations and modeling skills for sure, but you don't start from zero. If you start from zero, then of course the courses in April and May will be a lot of, give you a lot of support. But you also need to know that it will not be enough, that you need to do a lot of exercises again when you come back from the summer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we are perfect in time. We promised about this hour. As I said, if you have any general question, please shoot. Otherwise, I will be available by email or, as I said, at the end of August, early September, I will communicate the deadlines about the banking format, the revision. So we'll have the chance to meet one-to-one person or virtually. So you are super ready with this, with all this training. As Sabine was saying, and it's something we have prepared this time so much time in advance. We have been doing something similar in the past, but especially this year, we wanted to provide you with these extra resources so everybody's ready and have the awareness. You really have the chance for the investment banking, as she was saying, private equity will come later, but it's very similar in terms of what they're looking for in general. So the more you practice, the more you're ready, more chances you will have to be shortlisted when you will apply, either for investment banking or for private equity later on from January onwards. Okay, we're working on that. We're working with inviting company presentations. The banks, unfortunately, are not coming here in the SDA Bocconi, but they offer the programs. We're trying to create connections with them, but it's something you need to apply by your own. We are working in bringing more, we're saying more firms, more boutiques, more professionals from the industry to network with you guys. That's why we have created this private investment forum in February. Stylianos, please.
Hello.
Hello.
The question regarding the materials we have to prepare, will send us additional stuff, or is on the or included on the toolkit that we send us?
Yes, the information I'm going to send is the access to the online courses of Wall Street Oasis at the end of the week. So this is something I'm going to send you, okay? Besides the toolkit and the CV draft for banking. This is the only information I'm going to send you before the summer break, let's say. Okay. So you have the finance toolkit, online courses, draft, the template for the banking and the banking CV before the summer. All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Perfect. Well, I think it's a good time for you guys to meet each other. Perhaps you take some notes about the names. If you create these groups, I'm sure we'll meet each other here as far as you are all together on campus. One of the first meetings will be talking about finance. It will be a finance board, and you guys from MCF and guys from MBA can join and work together in the organization of events. Basically, you need to put your disposal of your time and connections to create events for the community, for the others. So as far as we create the Finance Club board, hopefully in October, we will start working together to set up all these events, initiatives to the rest of the community and for yourself, of course. So we will send complete information about that, how to present yourself for the board. And that's it. I don't get worried about what is going to be next. Let's think about the present. You have a lot of information now. Try to enjoy all these sources, and in September we'll catch up. All right. Okay, so with this, I'm going to close the session. Everything will be recorded, and we will upload in Blackboard for both masters if anyone wants to see later, and the slides, of course, will be available for everyone. Okay, so it was a pleasure to meet you all. Enjoy the summer. Please study, and we'll meet you soon when you come back for the vacation. All right. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Alfredo. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.